60% of Republicans still believe that they found
weapons of mass destruction. Yes,
in Iraq.
And they just have a bad publicist, and it never got out that they found them.
I was thinking, what they should do with, how Fox News got it wrong, Obamacare.
Yes.
Why correct it? They should just let those people believe that Obamacare got overruled. There's an alternative universe.
Like they have
let them live
exactly. Like they have a problem with. Like how about anyway? Yeah. David, what percentage of people in America believe in creation and don't believe in evolution?
Well, I think Mitt Romney is depending on the fact that people are ignorant.
Yes.
That's his one shot at winning the election.
Yes.
Well, that and the fact that they're going to steal it and buy it.
And Barack Obama is planning on the fact that most people are marginally informed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what he. So they're planning on that you're not informed at all, and Barack Obama's hoping on or counting on that you're a little bit informed.
Mm-hmm. By the way, it felt great being a Fox News pundit for a couple of minutes.
Oh,
it really did. My life was simplistic.
You could see the allure.
Mm-hmm. It really it felt great to
you had clarity, definitely.
It really does.
Oh, just now you mean?
Yeah, it really felt good.
Because you're convinced of how right you are.
And you're on the winning team, and you're going to be well paid for it. You're going to be well paid.
Uh-huh.
And you can be, that's the thing about
and you can steamroll.
When I
go take your facts and just mow them all down with might makes right.
I saw that clip, by the way, of S.E. Cupp saying that the Fortune magazine article that debunked all this stuff about Fast and Furious. So S.E. Cupp says that that's been debunked, and they said where has it been debunked? She said you can read about it on Town Hall.
And nobody really challenged her on it.
No,
right?
and they just it's just unbelievable.
I'm sure they said we're talking about this new show on NBC called The Cycle.
No, MSNBC.
Oh, MSNBC.
And they talked to this woman, S.E. Cupp. She's a conservative. She's a young, hot female conservative. I don't think she's that hot, actually.
Not as hot as Erin Burnett.
No, and she's from she has a column or she at the Daily News,
right.
that shit rag, right? And so then she gives her instant credibility, right? So then she comes on this show. So then they make her this person. She's going to be the conservative on this show,
right?
But it's not like they talk to her. If you notice, like you talk to like a child. They always are. It's like they're always explaining things to her about that's because this, and you can't remember how we said that the sun comes up.
And she's the expert.
Yeah, and she's this person. Yeah, she's on the show. Anyway, it makes the show unwatchable.
But what I was about to say is it was obvious from that moment that when they were preparing that show, everyone was told, look, you can't start yelling at S.E. Cupp.
Yes.
You just have to
have to take it.
Yeah, you just have to take it.
Because
that was an outrageous, ridiculous thing to say, and nobody, and these are really Steve Kornatsky and Torre and Crystal Ball. These are all really smart people, and none of them said anything to her when she said that.
Was there at least some nice silence afterwards and close-ups?
It wasn't what it should have been. It should have been the security guard coming over and removing her from the building.
Now, Fox News has not corrected their mistake. They have not apologized.
Their mistake?
Well, the big mistake of hiring Bill O'Reilly. No, their big Obamacare being...
Well, the thing is Fox News corrected it much quicker than CNN did.
Really?
Yeah, they did. Megyn Kelly.
Yeah.
Pretty soon after they announced it and they had the chyron, Obamacare repealed and whatever, she got a thing in her ear and she said, I'm hearing conflicting things. But on CNN, it went on for several minutes where they where they were talking about, and Wolf Blitzer, this is a devastating blow to this,
Man. Now, CNN has hit the lowest numbers in the history of CNN. Fewer people are watching CNN now than since it began.
And do you know what their remedy to fix it is? What now? Well, so I just read today that the guy who's in charge of CNN International is conflicting with the guy who and he is also the boss of the guy who runs the American one, and they're conflicting. So they're going to fire the international guy, which if you've ever seen CNN International, it's really good, as opposed to the CNN in America, which is like People magazine.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they're going to go even worse. They think they need to get even worse, I think.
More of their hosts are going to come out.
So I don't. Somebody.
That's an example of how bad CNN has gotten. Anderson Cooper was the last one to know he was gay. As long as you're not getting ratings, why don't you take the moral high ground?
Well, that's what somebody said. That's what I think Cenk Uygur made the point of, if you just would, there's a niche out there for you. It's called the news.
Yeah.
People turn to you. They want the news.
But the way CNN approaches that, though, is their whole thing is, we're like straight down the middle.
Right.
We get the two sides of every story.
Yeah.
If you don't think if you think that Obama was born in America, well, let's hear the other side of that.
Right. No.
I want my news to be palatable.
Right. There is empirical evidence out there. There is like the whole thing when people want to argue about climate science. You go no, or about global warming or climate change, and then they'll always have the other side on, right? So, and it's like, no, there's this. The CNN should say, no, we don't have that side on because this debate has already been had. It's been had by climate scientists, and they've already concluded. So we don't show that side because that's not a credible side.
Right.
That's not a real side.
There aren't two sides to everything.
Right. So exactly. There are some facts that they can get right like that. And so and I think that's all they need, though, the other side, the oil companies and the people, is to just make it a little murky. Look, there's all these other scientists who think the other way. Yeah. And that's the problem.
And stuff like Trump and all.
Yes.
All of those things are always given legitimacy, even though
we'll see what happens.
Even though Anderson Cooper or Wolf Blitzer might be saying, "Hey, but come on," and supposedly challenging, but the fact that it's being talked about and that it's being discussed as if that's like the other side of the argument, it gives it all legitimacy.
Do you know who admits that global warming is real?
No.
ExxonMobil. They have foreign policy statements. And they have official positions on science. They are a nation.
They're protecting themselves from future lawsuits or something. I think that would be part of the strategy of that. Right?
Yeah. Well, they do acknowledge that global warming is, in fact, as they're paying climatologists and scientists to deny it, their official position is global warming is real. And I guess it's just the country has gotten so stupid. And there's a little part of me, just because I'm filled with so much rage, that the red states seem to be suffering the most from their own stupidity. There's a fire now in Arizona. That's the largest fire.
Is that in Colorado or is that in Arizona?
Well, there's one in Arizona. And it's the biggest fire in the history of Arizona. And by the way, if you live in Arizona, how can you tell if there's a fire? I mean, I never understood that. I just think. But it turns out that the fire was started by a bunch of guys who decided to go camping for a bachelor party. Did you read about this?
No.
It was a month ago. So a bunch of guys said, hey, Jimmy's getting married. Let's go on a camping trip. And they had a couple of beers. And then they started firing their guns. Now, we're in Arizona where all the global warming deniers live.
Right.
And everybody's allowed to carry guns.
Right.
And they start firing off guns, and one guy thought it would be interesting to put an incendiary device in one of his guns, and he fires it at a tree. The tree explodes, and it starts the fire.
But you got to admit, it was probably pretty cool at that moment when it happened.
Yeah, that sound effect made me so interested. I was like, wow, what would that
hope he took out his telephone. And,
so I'm reading the story today, and I'm thinking, all right, here is the dumbest state in America, Arizona, with the biggest forest fire in the history of the stupid state. And I'm thinking, when are they going to learn not to get married? Because it was the bachelor party that started this all. If they didn't have that goddamn wedding plan. No, I mean, when do you wake up and say, David we are Feldman. A stupid state with our guns? Look at what we're doing here. And supposedly they believe in a vengeful God, they're Christians or whatever they call themselves. Isn't God telling you something? Texas with the drought?
Yeah. Well, they in Arizona, but some people are saying that guy was just defending himself from that tree.
Well, the tree was standing its ground.
Yes, it was. Definitely.